So, for those who just joined us and did not attend the first talk, I'm just going to say what is the idea of the talk. Since I created the collaboration with ZARA, which is called Let's Talk About Fashion, I think the final point of this collaboration, to make sense, would be to actually talk about fashion, and I decided to ask my original, the actual fashion icons and idols who made me love fashion to join me and us, and I'm sure you share love with them as well. Carine Roitfeld is someone who I can say for like 1,000,000% that you are the reason why I love fashion, why I'm sitting here. And I have a story about that. It was 2008. No, I have a very specific story.
Okay.
I share this with you, but I think that it will be nice to share with them as well. So I was always into magazines, newspapers, and to reading and going through, and I like the illustrations, typography, and pictures, but I was more into like the show business, musicians, and everything, and nothing about fashion, because in Georgia we had no fashion magazines. And there was a day when I discovered Vogue Paris. It was September 2008 issue. Anna Selesneva with the Wall on the cover by Merton Marcus. And when I saw this cover, I asked myself, okay, what is this? First of all, it was a picture. Then I said, okay, I want to have this magazine for me. And I remember I was waiting for my birthday because it's a tradition in Georgia, when it's your birthday, they usually give the money to you to buy anything that you want. And they gifted me, it was around $200, I think, like collection from the family members. And first thing that I bought was the 3 issues of Vogue Paris from 2008. It was the cover February 2008, Naomi and Kate together. Then by Mario Testino. There was April 2008, Kate on a bike, I think Ines and Vinud. And the same year with Anna Selesneva for the September cover. So I got these magazines, I opened them, and first thing what I said to myself was like, I want to work here. But I did not know who I would be, what I would do in fashion. Obviously, I knew I would not be a model, but I did not know photography. But at some point, then I started working for the Georgian brands, and I did a lot in fashion. But sometimes I feel like if I did not see that cover, probably maybe I would see something else later. But then I found the person. I was always interested to see who was the behind the scenes, and I found that the person whose the images I loved the most through internet, through the magazines, she was the one who was responsible for all the images. So first of all, I want to thank you for this, that's why I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you, because
I'm fearless, no? Because some of the covers was maybe unacceptable today.
Yeah,
no?
and we're gonna talk about that. So, and I remember 2 years ago, I was in Paris for 2 or 3 days just to fix some of my documents, and I got a message from Carine asking like, I want to go a blind date with you. And it was just 3 days I was in Paris, and she said, I am in Paris. And she asked me, do you have time tomorrow? So I went to see her. We sat in a small cafe, just 2 of us. It was Sunday. And we said we both had 30 minutes, but our talk lasted around 2 hours. And we also share more or less like our connections from the regions that we come from. So we find a lot of connections. So I'm happy to call him. I mean, I can always talk to her, ask her advice. So I'm super happy that she's someone who I can call a friend who comes to my birthdays. I go to her birthday, so we have this kind of relationship. So it's a big honor for me. So I think everyone knows the name Carine Roitfeld, and you always probably have some of your associations. But imagine there exists someone who never heard of this. Who is Carine Roitfeld?
Oh my God.
How would you describe her as?
She's a hard worker. Look at me, I'm just coming from a show. I was working on a show today, and I have no time for change.
So you styled Elisa Up show, right?
Yes, I'm styling some shows. So I'm a hard worker. When I was maybe your age, young, I love fashion. My mother has, when you go to each weekly, the L at home, French L, and I love it. But at that time, I mean, I'm not so young now. When you say you want to work in fashion, everyone thinks you're a stupid person, that you have, you're very selfish. you have no interest in life, blah, blah, blah. So I never tell my parents I like to work in fashion. And I started as a model, believe it or not. I've never been a top model, but it's opened me a door. And after, I was writing, a bit like he's doing, but not the same talent. So it's the way I discover fashion. So I didn't make, as I said, I'm a hard worker. I didn't make like a hit. I make many years of album, let's say, before become an hit, an icon, or I don't know if you want to call me, because at that time too there was no Instagram, and it was not the same. People don't know you. They want to know backstage, but they don't know you. They don't see what's happening behind the scene, what we all want to know, what is usually very fun. And if you really want to know what I'm not going to tell you today, I'm going to prepare a book.
Okay.
And because I was lucky to work with amazing people. I worked 10 years with Karine Roitfeld until he died. And he always called me Madame Roitfeld. And he told me, you know, Madame Roitfeld, at your age, you can say everything you want now. This is a good thing to be older. You can say everything. I say, okay, so I'm going to write a book. And I can say, I'm not a mean person, but some things has to be said in the behind the scene.
And when is it coming?
I started, I hope, in 1 year.
Okay, so it's going to be the autobiography?
Yes, but mostly biography, not my personal biography, my step and work in fashion. Because if I'm still there in fashion, okay, I like it, but it's much more fun than people are thinking. Much more fun.
Yeah.
It's really, it's physical work. So it's the reason I say I'm a hard worker. And now when I see all the new young stylists, you know, you have 1 or 2 assistants, and 2 have cars, and bling and blank. Me, I take the metro, and I was starting at L, French L. So you know the plastic bags, they cut your hands, no?
Yes.
So it was the way. There was no Instagram, no. You cannot believe that when I starting as a fashion editor at L, I've never been an assistant. I start to write and after do my pictures. There was no computer. Seems almost that I start in Georgia, no? It's not very far from your country. So everything has to be stick on the paper. The picture, the text, the layout, everything. So when you start this way, and after you discover maybe 40 years after Instagram, it's a big advantage. And maybe not an advantage, I'm not sure, but in a way it's helpful. But I want to say that fashion is not just running to the show with a beautiful outfit and a driver. It's mostly working hard behind, and you really want, if you want to work in fashion, it's going to be hard. First of all, because now you have much more competition than what I start. When I work in the street, I get so many CV, you say, of people that are dreaming to work in fashion, want to be intern at the magazine, that 20 years ago. It seems a fabulous world. It could be fabulous, but it could be very cruel too. So you have to be ready for that world. And after, you need a talent. See, you have or you don't have a talent, because you can learn a lot of things, but you have something special coming from you. Maybe you're different than the other one, you have another point of view. For example, me, when I look at a fashion show with 5 other designers by me, I never see the same thing at them. Not mine is better, just it's different. I see another way. What interests me is not what they like. Maybe it's a little detail, maybe it's a pair of shoes, a makeup, a model, I don't know. But it's never like the other one. So maybe it's my strength. It's Carine Roitfeld, she's maybe a bit different when you ask. So hard worker, different, fearless. Because you think that, okay, we're working in fashion, we're not working in a hospital. No, we're very lucky, it seems to be a very fun world, what I tell you it was. But it's difficult too, because now you have no freedom, not so much freedom in fashion that we have before. Today, mostly of the covers it was talking about, it will be impossible to produce them. To produce maybe, but anyway, to put on the magazine.
With the cigarettes or...
Cigarette I still have on my magazine. So keep buying now a ZARA fashion book. It's a fearless magazine. Mostly everyone is smoking. I don't know why, because it's a nice gesture. And I like it because people say don't smoke. The more someone say don't do it, I'm sure it's the same for you, the more I want it. You know, I always wear white shoes with bag. This is one of my signature, because it's really the way I'm each day, no? And there is a law, even in America, that if you wear white shoes after special holiday weekend,
Labor Day,
you'll be killed. And there was a film about that. Remember the film, Dearest Mommy or something like that? She killed someone because this woman is wearing white shoes after this date. So, you know, all that things that you're not supposed to do, I like. It's my punk side. I don't look very punk, but look, I have tattoos now. I have a lot of things, punk, and white and black. This is supposed not to be chic, but it's a way I like. And maybe I was raised in a classic way, let's say. I was good at school. I was no problem. I was taking the metro in mini short to go to nightclub, you know. But always there is sort of bourgeoisie on my mother's side. So no white with black, no jogging with high heels, no this with no that. You know, with all these rules, no black bra under a transparent white shirt. You know, this is all I hate. So I decided to be, I didn't dye my hair, but I was really the more punkish, I think, in the fashion. I try to make everything accepted, what's supposedly to be not accepted. It looks a bit complicated, but it's very easy finally, no?
Yeah. You said that your earliest memory of fashion comes from the Elle magazine, right?
True.
How many years ago was that, more or less? Like 30?
It was in the 1980 I started.
Okay. It's
but
like
my
35.
first, but when I was, sorry, you're going to see, I'm a grandma, so don't, I started a long time ago, I think it's 40 years of fashion. But when I was your age, there is no fashion for young people. There is nothing, no ZARA, no H&M, nothing. And if you want to be a bit fashion, you have to have ideas, you know. And my first fashion look that I create, I remember very well now, it was during the French Revolution in 1968, when I was one of the girls outside my French lycée, you know, that forbidden other people to go inside the lycée. Pied de grue, on appelle ça, anyway. And I think I need to have a revolutionary look, you know, because suppose it was a revolution. And I think, where can I find it, you know? Some people dress all red and they go to some store, but I don't have the money. I take the bus to go to the flea market, Porte de Clignancourt, and I bought my first military jacket. Smells so bad, you know, military jacket always has a... And I buy the bags, you know, the one to go with. And I make a lot peace and love on my jacket, on my bag. I have a khaki bob, and that's a look. It was my
You still love the military jacket.
I still
remember
love
some of your looks.
Yeah, it's a good color for me, I can say.
So talking about, you mentioned already that you are fearless, and with this fearless, we can mention some of your golden years of your career. And you remember 2 days ago when we were at the Haider's Tom Ford debut, someone asked to you about your work with Tom, and you replied it was a 20, how was it, the reply?
No, they asked me how long I was working with Tom Ford when we met at the new Tom Ford show by Haider Ackerman. And the answer is 27 years of sex. It's a bit that. It's a special sex between me and Tom, but it was sex in all the pictures, sex in all the one way. Imagine when you put strings on the boys on the one way.
Hard to do.
It's hard to do because there is a very, very, very fine line between vulgarity and just, I will say, erotism, no? A very, very fine line. I think for me, my biggest photographer is Helmut Newton, because I think he was the first one, really never step on the wrong side of the pavement. Do you understand my
right.
I'm not bilingual, sorry, I was in a French lycée, so you know we don't learn English in a French lycée, so... But I can be sometimes fun in English too. So it was 27 years of sex because we did everything possible. Because finally you can do everything you like when the business is good. And my years at Vogue was a good moment of business, much better than today. There was less brands. We have much more money to produce because today we have to produce sometimes 12, 20 pictures in a day. That day we do 5 or 6 pictures in a day.
So
you know?
Several day shoots.
Several day shoots. Now we don't have no money to afford it. It's the same for me, so I have to be quicker. And so I think I got the golden years.
Yeah.
At my time, it was between the 19th and the beginning of 2000. I think it was golden years for fashion, for music too. And we discovered so many great models that's still modeling today. The 90s area was fabulous, you know, like Kate Moss and all these girls. And there was more freedom, and the music was so important with the fashion, much more than today. And there is so much law now and political to get that girl, not that girl, and about diversity. Me always be in the diversity. I think I'm the first one in France to dedicate an entire issue to Lia Kebede, One my first issue, I put Sophie Marceau with a cigarette on the
Yes.
cover.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
No one kill me. Just I get a phone call from a doctor. Can you give me the address of her because I would love her to stop to smoke. That's it. No other
Did
thing.
she stop?
I don't
If you
think
know.
Sophie stopped, no.
Yeah.
But it's the only thing I get. So the problem is never come when you think you're going to have a problem.
Does all these actions, the G-string or Kim Kardashian, all these choices, were something that, like expression of your, how to say, like emotions or the vision, or you always still think, we are all human, so did you still think that I'm gonna put this because it's gonna create more attention and it's gonna make more people think? Did you think, or you just did it? And
No, I never
attention
think
came
this
by
way.
itself?
I'm very spontaneous,
Yeah.
but I think what I don't like, for mostly I'm shooting women no, for the magazine, what I don't like is to see the woman, the model, as a victim, as a poor person, terrified, not happy to be naked, not happy. So, I'm a mom, so when I have young girls coming to me and I say, can we take off your bra? I always ask, are you sure your mom is going to be okay? Are you sure? Because I don't want to have a problem with the mom, because I'm a mom myself.
Yeah.
And you feel if the girl feels comfortable or not. If she feels not comfortable, we can do something else. There is another solution. I don't like to make people uncomfortable. Even my ideas are a bit uncomfortable. But if I put someone naked, of course with high heels, on the middle of the street, she has to feel proud, not to feel terrified. That's the girl I like. But not anyone wants to be like that. So I understand very well. So some girls are great, like Clara Stone or all these girls, because she has this feeling. But I never will push someone that feels uncomfortable, because this is the worst. And you're young, you're shy, you say no, and finally you're so bad with yourself. It's terrible. So I will never do something like that. Mm-hmm. And still after 40 years, I still like the models. And a lot of models love me. They call me
You
like
have your girls.
I am my girl. I'm so like a fashion godmother of many girls, from Gigi to Alima to Isabelle to I don't know, many girls.
Lara is one of the.
Lara
she became a
is
superstar. Yeah.
And I make so many covers with Lara. Now she's become a huge star herself. She's an icon, no? And I love her because she has this sensibility and this, I don't know, like Marilyn Monroe, something very shy and very, that I like in her. Something, we say weak, something weak, but not emotional. Always.
And you made her look really different, because I remember cover where she was super sexy, and there was this French, like Marie Antoinette kind of editorial.
Yeah.
I think it was from 2009. She looked completely different, and suddenly months after she would be like a bombshell more.
But you have to change, because I think people, you get bored very easily. I get bored very easily too.
Yeah, that was
so
my
you
next
have to
question.
find something new. And the one, excuse me, I repeat his name, is Karl Lagerfeld, because I was working at his end of his life, 10 years, so he was he's like a child, impassioned, no? So if you make him wait, he's leaving. He's going to see some galleries, he's going for dinner, he's going to see Choupette, I don't know. So you have to be ready, like, very military, not to let him go. And he told me each time, Madame Roitfeld, what we're going to do? We did this and this and this. Yes, we have to do something new. Of course, I'm bored about everything else we did already. I say, okay, so each time I have to think about a new idea, because I know he's going to be bored. And if he's bored, he's leaving. If he's leaving, it's going to be late,
Where this idea comes, like, even I get bored sometimes. I'm sitting at a fashion show. Even if
fashion
I'm
show,
doing
I'm
this
mostly
big...
very bored sometimes, no?
Yeah, there are some boring fashion shows. But, okay, so you are faced, so you have to do another issue. And by the way, the new one that we talked about this with Madonna, it looks incredible. It's very you. It brings me the memories of your the Vogue years when it looks. I have not seen the full editorial yet, but it looks
I think you have 50 pages of Madonna.
Madonna by Stephen Klein.
Yeah, you can print them. Huh?
Yeah.
And everything was made by Madonna. I mean, the script, the text, it's her. Okay. She prefers Stephen Klein, who is an amazing photographer, but she respects me and she accepts to do it. But she works until 2 o'clock in the morning in a cold cemetery in Brooklyn.
Wow. Okay.
So I bought a jacket just for this shoot. Okay. Sometimes you need excuse to buy a new jacket to be chic and warm in the same times. And she stayed until the end. And each time, even for the last picture, she bring vampire teeth. It was great. She think about many things too. It was really it's a collaboration with the three of us.
Yeah.
Madonna, Stephen, and myself.
Totally. And are the people who then take you out of this boringness and take you inspired, or you go through back to your work? Do you get inspired some of your old work, or are you always looking something new, or you like also reinvention of your old work?
What you ask me about Carine is a very curious person. and Carine is a Virgo. It means that, no, I mean, I never forget something I saw.
Yeah.
Maybe I forgot names, but...
You have a good memory. Yeah,
yes.
I know this, yeah.
And I'm very picky.
Yeah.
But always I remember what they're wearing, blank, blank. And so, like you, I'm watching TV, I'm watching, I scroll my iPhone, and I go to young designer, I go to magazine, maybe nobody's know. I'm a curious person. I think this keep me aware to keep on, you know, and give me, when you're waiting, bowing in a lounge at the station or in an airport, no, just looking at the people. It's interesting the way they dressed, the way they look. For me, it's where coming my ideas. Usually the worst dress are the more interesting, because bad thing give you always ideas.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing. People good looking, it's not interesting. It's interesting, but that doesn't give you ideas. I need something wrong. I say, oh my God, this is so good. Oh, this is so good. And you give me the idea for something else. Yeah. Always.
Since you mentioned the style, you have kind of your uniform, so we can describe Carine look. I was talking about this use. It's always a pencil skirt. There is always maybe a t-shirt or a shirt or a leather jacket in different variations of this. How long did it take to get there, to have this? Because I think it kind of makes life easier, right?
Much easier. Okay, this is my uniform. It's my uniform when I start to work at French Vogue. Because all the other girls were wearing jeans. I'm very good in jeans too. Huh? It suits me very well. But I don't want to be like the other one. I want to be, I was the boss, let's say, no? So my look of boss was tight skirt, high heels, t-shirt or sweater, mostly black, sometimes leather, but it always don't change. And after some years in fashion, or even if it's not in fashion, you know to learn about yourself. Each one, we have something good. Me, I don't have a great décolleté. I don't have a great lips, but I have good eyebrows, good eyes, and good ankles. So I say I can wear skirt. It's good for me. It makes me what I'm good, but I'm not making good décolleté because I don't have a nice, great décolleté. I don't have I love lips on the lips, but red on the lips, but on me it looks not good. So I say, okay, if we forgot about that part, we're going to go on that part, you know? Yeah. So I think every one of you knows something. Everyone has something good, you know?
I was somewhere, actually at the ZARA exhibition in A Coruña in November, and we were talking about the photographers, about Helmut, about Irving, and there were people who they were shot naked by them, and they tell that when they were just with the photographer and when they were confident with their body, they felt the most comfortable rather than to have the look, because sometimes models don't like what they wear, they are forced because it's a look and it's your job, so but you have to wear that. But is it also, besides the comfort, it's a mix of the comfort and the chic, right, for you? And I mean, people always like to hear these kind of details, and I also asked Anna and she could not name the number. How big is your wardrobe?
How many what?
How big is your wardrobe? Do you have
small?
How small then?
Very small, because I'm very lazy, so I don't like to shopping. I don't like to change too much. This is like to see an uniform. So maybe I have let's say 12 skirts this way, black or khaki. My second color is khaki.
Yes.
I have 5 black sweaters. I have, this is my Tom Ford t-shirt, and for GLJ 2 more. They're going to destroy. Okay. And I don't wear white, so mostly black t-shirt. And my shoes, I have maybe, let's be honest, 20 pair of shoes. For some I keep, I don't keep. And I have 1 black coat, 1 jacket in fake fur that I was wearing all the time, and 2 jackets, one of Balenciaga, one of Margiela. What else? And for evening dress, I have
some old
that you're lucky when you can still fit them.
Yes.
And I have a daughter that she do a lot. I'm not a bag lady. I never have a bag, so you have all bags with you. I think bag is destroying a look. Totally. I think the bag, if you decide to have a beautiful bag to show it, you have to start with a bag when you dress you on. I don't know, for example, you have a bag. No, this is a black one. I thought it was a leopard black. No. Okay. Yours is beautiful. It's like I don't know if it's a Kelly, Hermes, khaki Kelly or something very chic and very. So if you dress like this, I will change your look totally. If you want to go with your Kelly has to be, I don't know the brand, the icon. So I will not put in white, and the look is very good, but not with your bag. I think
Yeah.
it's competition,
Take
so
the
you have to
notes.
decide. And I think that Monsieur Saint Laurent said something that I like. He said that I like a woman with no bag. She just handles the arm of a beautiful man. I think
Yes,
this is
that's
more
what you
chic.
told me. One of the first.
But it's true, I never have bags, so you see.
Yeah.
So I don't need, I'm shy, so I need to have hands to put my pocket, and I don't know where to put my hands. And in plus, in my coat, I have pockets for my iPhone, cigarettes,
Yes.
lighter, and that's it.
Okay, let's move to the cigarette, because when I met Carine, it was 2 years ago, and she told me that she just started smoking, not stopped, but just started smoking. She just
I'm a
did
beginner.
her first tattoos, piercing also, right? Where I asked you that time, but I want them also to hear, why now, and where did this the renewed useful energy came to you? Where did it come from suddenly, out of?
It's come from no one, especially. It's come from new ideas all the time to discover new territory, for example. Oh, what a chic lady in front of me. Are you Russian? No. You look.
She's my
Georgia.
friend from Georgia.
You look
Georgia,
so, okay.
Georgia is Georgia this day.
So I need to, next time you have to invite me for the food, because you told me
Of
you
course.
had me for Georgian
Yeah,
food
yeah,
and
yeah.
you never did.
There is a
don't
good
forget.
one now, so we're gonna go there. Yeah.
You know, I don't forget
Yeah.
when you make
Yeah, I know.
that sort of proposition.
I owe this
I love to eat.
invitation.
So yes, I started smoking 5 or 6 years ago. Tattoo is for 2 years now. I'm going to make another one. Everyone in my family say no. I ask you what you think. Because tattoos are very dangerous because they have a meaning. Everything has a meaning, so you cannot play with the meaning. For example, here I have a tear, like a drop, but it's not full, it's empty. It means that you lost people you love. If it was full, it will mean you killed someone.
Oh my God.
No, but it's very important to know when you decide to make tattoos, because mostly in the East, in Georgia and Russia, there are a lot of, it means a lot, no? So now I want to do a tear, but not full, like this one here. What do you think?
Go for it.
Yeah, yeah, you told me that.
So they say go for it, so I'm going to do
Yeah,
it.
so let's see next season.
Not next season, in next month. Why
Next
do you
month,
wait?
maybe, yeah. And tell me, how do you relate with the young people? I know, I mean, some of your team members, and they're really young guys who work with you or who worked with you. How much you like working with them, or do you like working with them, or you still prefer your trusted partners to be with you when you do something?
What do you mean by trusted partners?
No, I mean the people who you work a lot, even Stephen Klein, or the people who you work with, or you are excited to work with the young generation, and what is the reason why you want to work with them?
When you meet a new photographer, you meet new hair and makeup team, you meet new model, you meet new desire, you know. So it was good for me because it kept me, I think, on the radar for everything new, and not just keep with you old photographer and a friend makeup artist with your bottle on your table. You know, sometimes you take habits, and habits is not good for creativity.
Okay.
You have to be challenged all the time and always push the more difficult door. You know, when Tom Ford asked me to work for him to do consulting for the show, I never did this before. I didn't know even it was existing, you know. At that time it was less than today, but now everyone is consulting for anyone, you know.
Yeah.
It was not like that, and I said, well, what's that job? I never did it, you know. And at the same time, Tom Ford asked me to work on this show, and Jill Sander asked me to work on this show. I said, what can I do?
Herself, you mean Jill Sander?
Yeah,
herself,
it was Jill Sander herself. So I said, okay, what can I do? I said, I'm going to try both at the beginning. And after, I said, finally, I prefer to spend more time with Tom, who is very seductive, and treat me more like a gorgeous, beautiful all the time. That Jill Sander was a bit more dry. So I decided to stick just with Tom.
Okay.
Just for the person.
Yeah. Who is someone from more younger generation? Do you like to take advice from them? Do you learn from them? And who is someone, if you can name, who you always, because people come to you for advice, for consulting, who you consult with if you want to take any decision?
It's difficult, but of course my team.
Okay.
And my son, Vladimir, is my business partner, believe it or not. He's my president.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's good for me because, as I told you, I'm a fearless person, but now it's very dangerous to be fearless. I'm fearless, but I always respect people. I never want to have blood or things like that in the magazine, no anorexic, no, nothing like that. But sometimes you can be wrong. You can make a lot of errors because time change, no? And Vladimir is living in New York, so he become half American. And Americans are much more conscious, let's say, about some problems that I'm totally unconscious of. So it's very helpful. So do you think we can do this? Do you think we can do that? But Madonna, she has a gun on the cover. You think it's okay to have a gun? You know, now I'm anxious to have problems. So I ask him. So for advice, this way is Vladimir.
Okay.
Always. For security, let's say lawyer, not to make anyone in trouble.
Yeah.
And after, for the fashion, I think I have so many tricks, and for so many years, if you turn the page of my books, they're all inside. So, but it's rare that I copy myself. I find new ideas all the time. I don't know where they come from. Tell you from Netflix, from a. I don't go out so much, but each week I have a new crush on Netflix. So it means I spend 1 week with a Korean one. After next week I'm with a Turkish one. The weeks after I'm with a, I don't know, Colombian one, you know?
Yeah.
So you learn a lot in Netflix because you meet these people that you don't know, talking language you don't know, and they have a look, they have a way, and in time you find something you didn't know and give you an idea.
I see.
So Netflix film and all my crush, I have, you know, I change a lot. I'm not very faithful. It's very helping.
Yeah, I see. So for I know that the fashion icon is an overused word, but if there was only one person, if there was like dictionary, how to explain, for me, I would put Carine Roitfeld. Who is your fashion icon, if any, or who was?
Really fashion icon. I think there was just one person. I don't think it's a fashion icon, but I think she's always white in her looks. You know what? It's very difficult not to be overdressed or to be underdressed. You know, there is always a limit. When you go to the show, you see some girls going to the red carpet with, you see, because it's ridiculous in the time, you know. On something bad, you know, you have to find the white. And I think the only person, for me, with always with a rock and roll attitude and perfect is Kate Moss.
Okay, yeah, I think we can agree. Yeah.
Because you saw her at Tom Ford, the way she came. Yeah. She was simple, just a trousers and a fur, I don't know, and a cigarette. But she has no jewelry and things and bags, blah blah. She's just perfect all the time. So we always try to have the same outfit.
Yes.
And she's dangerous, but I think in plus she's cool. And I think in fashion the more important is the attitude more than the look. And I think she has a cool attitude. She talks, she's fun, she's not. She seems to enjoy the things when she comes to a show. Not a lot of people like her, and I like her attitude. I think she's not an icon, but she will be a reference.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any fashion dreams that you still did not realize?
Fashion dream? Oh yes, I'm sure. I hope so. You know, I can repeat. Oh my God, I quote so many people. I heard this because I'm very lucky to meet amazing people. I met Tom Ford, Carine Roitfeld, John Galliano. I'm friend with Martin Margiela, the only one, the real one. You know, invite me for dinner.
Yeah,
you know, I'm friend with Helmut Lang, the real one. So I'm very lucky to meet all these people because they're artists. I'm not an artist. I'm just doing well with the artists. And like I say, I'm like John Galliano. I didn't do my best shoot yet.
Okay.
Because John told me I didn't do my best show yet. I said, okay, you can always do better. So he pushed you to do better, to try harder, to do better.
So you won't give up until you don't have your best shoot, right?
No. So I can wait.
Yeah.
And another thing about Carine that you asked me about me, that I learned from Carl and for Tom. Sorry, I call them by the first name. This is my power. That they always tell me, I'm not an artist, I'm not a designer, I'm not a photographer, but I have this quality, I make the other one better. It's what Tom told me when I was working on him on his shows. It was Carl tell me when I was doing the pictures, I make them better. I find something in them that I push forward, I don't know exactly to explain. So both say the same thing to me, so I think it's a big compliment.
I see. Is there any industry or profession that you ever would work except fashion?
I would love to be an actress or a singer.
Okay.
But, and plus I'm coming from a film producer family. My father, my grandfather, my brother, blah, blah. And when I was young, there was this film, Emmanuel, the first one. Did you see the first film, Emmanuel? The first one, okay. And in it, there is a young girl that she called Marie-Ange in the film. She has a mini short. She has her hand in a short like that, and she has an ice cream. Do you remember that scene? No. Anyway, you have to look at it because the metteur en scène, the director, was a photographer that I know called Juste Jacquin. He was the director of that film. And he knows me because I was modeling at that time. And he asked me to do that job. It was in Thailand. I never traveled so far. I said, oh my God, I'm going to be an actress. You know, I was so But, you know, my father was a film producer. And my father said no. Daddy said no. Not at all. Not at all. So I finished my career before I started. You know, sometimes you work with people like Rihanna. Have you worked with Rihanna? But you all love Rihanna, no?
Yeah.
I would love to be like Rihanna. I'm never late. It's true, I'm never late.
Yeah,
I always apologize if I'm late. If it's not time for eating, I'm not ask a pizza because I'm already late, you know? And I would love one day in my life not to be so Virgo, so, you know, perfect, in time, not late, saying nice things, polite, blah, blah, blah. To be not control freak. I'm a control freak in a way. I would love not to be a control freak.
Maybe that's why I love you so much. Because I'm also a control freak, and sometimes it makes me... I create problems for myself with this control.
Yes.
And the stress that creates out of nowhere. So,
but I would love to be a no control freak, total. To be able to come so late, to be able to...
Me too.
And I think it's genius. I would love to be one day to be we are now not her, but I would love to be her, but the way she acts, and she's so lovely, that finally there's no problem.
Yeah, I see. Then I think, so it's going to be the last question. I want to go back to the idea of the talk, is that, so these days we know and we see that everywhere where we see the fashion news, the only news we have that designer is in and out. We have a new CEO, you have a new CMO, sales are up and down, and it's the main talk. We talk only at the fashion shows. Oh, have you heard this rumor and this and this and this and that? And
I call them musical chairs.
Yes, totally. And the idea was that let's bring the real fashion talk about this. Do you also feel that we are missing talking about the collections, about the designers, about inspiration?
Of course.
The business has eaten the fashion talk.
I think, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, because it gives more job in business, in fashion, sorry, I think business sometimes is too important. You want to put bags on the one way because you want to sell bags, no? So it's 100 bags on the one way. It's ridiculous, no? So they're so anxious to do something
hysterical
wrong.
In a way, yeah.
They don't try to... And how can you be a great designer and do 6 shows a year? It's impossible, you know? So I think the best of one, because to be a designer, you have to be an artist. So artists are supposed to be not weaker, but more sensible than the other one. And all the big designers, finally, they don't finish very well because the stress that I think the business gave to them. I have a passion for Lee McQueen. He was one of my heroes of fashion. And look what happened to him, you know. And for me, everyone tried to copy Lee McQueen. It's not Lee McQueen, you know. Look what happened to Monsieur Saint Laurent. You know, all these designers, they have problems because it's so difficult to do so many work, you know. The only one that his capacity was Karl Lagerfeld because he can do I don't know how many shows in a way, and he has the capacity, but a lot of them, they don't have this capacity to support. And fashion, as I tell you at the beginning, is a very cruel world. And when you see your name, okay, I don't know, let's say Sabato Di Sarno from Gucci, which is a very nice person, you know. You see the morning Sabato Di Sarno,
Di Sarno,
exit of Gucci, you say, if I was him, maybe I could jump on the balcony, you know. Sometimes the things are so cruel, so not nice.
Happens fast.
And so fast, and so you want push another one that you can be killed, you know. I think you can kill with words, no? And I think the fashion news is too hard for me. I'm a nice person. I don't like to be mean with the other one. And you know, when you're doing a show, people just think about the success of the show and the designer. But I worked a lot behind the show. So I know it's not just one designer. It's a team of hair and makeup. It's a team of petites mains, a team, many people behind the scene, you know, the team doing the shows, the team doing the music. So they work so hard for a show. How you can kill a show just to say, I put 2 on 10. I think this is pas possible. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I hate to have numbers and somebody judge my work to say, oh, she's fixed. Her story is 6 on 10, or your story is not good, it's 3 on 10. Who can judge and say this? Okay, for yourself, you can, but not in the public. I will not able to do something like that because I was well raised, polite. And I'm a sensible person. I think everyone can have another chance and not to be cut like
Absolutely.
this. And honestly, a lot of people could really throw themselves away.
And this is very much related to me because people come to me and tell me like, oh, you don't critique anyone. You are always so positive. You just say something and they don't realize that I talk exactly the things that I like because
If you don't like, you don't talk about it.
that's what I do.
That's it.
That's my choice. I mean, if you like there are people who like about the things that they do not like, but it's their choice. And me, as working in the fashion brand for many years and being the one who was judged as a part of the team, coming from the critics and from the press, it feels it's difficult when you realize that the designer who sit down and maybe more or less objectively, it was not really a nice collection. How much effort and power.
But you have
and
to
time
find a way
put-
to tell it.
Totally. There is always something nice happening. There could be just one good look out of 100 looks, and I prefer to talk about
Exactly.
this very nice look.
You have to be a bit positive. I think it's a very tough world, and fashion become very tough too. And I think good luck if you want to work in fashion because it's a dreamland, but it's very difficult too. So you have to have shoulders, and each morning, maybe the reason I like military jacket. I think each morning you're like a fighter. You go. Yes. You go to fight.
And last question.
And in the high heels it's more difficult,
Yeah.
but you have to do it.
And last question is very much related to this. It was more like a fun question, but then Anna had an answer on that. Should we take fashion seriously? What do you think?
We have to, because it's a lot of business, it's a lot of job for so many people, but in another way, people now don't have the sense of humor. And this is very sad. I take fashion very seriously, but I have a sense of humor. It could be very funny. Today was quiet, much more funny. But I think it has to be joyful. And when you see some show, for example, I don't know if you see the show D Squared in Milan.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was there, we wait, but the music was great, and the casting and what's happening was fantastic and fun. And when you say to someone, oh, the show was very fun, for a lot of people, it's a negative thing. For me, it's not a negative thing. When you say 10 shows a day, you better have some fun, because after it's
Absolutely,
negative,
yeah,
no?
yeah.
So fun is good for fashion. You can respect and be fun, you know? It could work together. Fun is very good.
Yeah.
And I think some new designer bring a new people to the fashion world, even to the sitting place, you know, like Virgil, for example.
Yeah.
So when Virgil comes to Vuitton, he brings with him his talent, and he brings a lot of people, his friends, and a lot of different people that usually we have on fashion show. And it was so magic because these people, they love fashion, but different than me. They love colors, they love superposition, they tie their hair. Me, I always the same hair, I cannot do anything else, and I'm always in black. It's boring, you know? And I see all this new crowd of people loving colors, very good in fashion, make everything fashionable and cool. It's something new, fresh, excision was coming since I've been in Paris with Virgil. And now it's keeping on, and I think it's good because...
Yeah. When people ask me, why do you go to New York Fashion Week, and my answer is fun, because people still have so much fun there.
Exactly, more than here.
Yeah, absolutely. And the things that happen at the shows there, because you have very local communities who just don't care in a good way, and they do whatever they want, but they still stay polite. But if such thing would ever happen in Paris, it would be disaster, because I've been bumped into the situation. It was so much fun for me, but I keep going to New York because it's
Me too. I was working with an American designer. It was fun. You know, it was not perfect, but the quad and the
Laquan,
but Laquan, the designers, the interns, you know, all the people around are so fun. You know.
Yeah.
So it's good. So it's the people make the. I think fashion has to be fun.
Yeah.
Not ridiculous. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
No, because French people, we don't like ridicule.
Yeah, of course.
We don't do what you do in New York a lot when you dress Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see it is a more important night of the year for my daughter and my granddaughter. It's
Right.
1 year in advance they're thinking about the costume, no?
Okay.
In Paris, it never worked.
Yeah.
Because French people, we don't like that people have fun of us, no? We are very, quiet, no?
Yeah.
So it's never good
Especially in
fun.
Paris.
Ah yes, people, I don't know, if you go to provincial city, I think it could be worse.
Okay, because that's would be my answer as well. Because when people ask me like, how long would you do your page or be in fashion, and my reply is like, until I have fun. I'm gonna be there, because every time I go to the shows, I had a talk 2 days ago at some dinner with some other my fellow fashion critics. They tell me like, oh, we just care about the collection, and I respect them, and they tell me like, guys, I'm going to the shows to see the show in the context of collection with the context of the show. This is important. So as you said, the story is important for me rather than just to have a white wall, which has its own story. For example, you go to the Row shows, it's super simple. Nothing really happens there, but it's kind of the show itself, and it's done so well to be quietly there, no cameras, no pictures, nothing. That's part of the show. It's fun because last show we had no seats. We could find our seats, so some people stayed on the floor, some people stayed on each other's in like one chair. So until you have fun, I mean, if anyone would have a question about this, my advice is always is to keep continuing to have fun. So I think we share this.
I think if you want to have fun, before start, if you can work on a fashion show, start with a men fashion show.
Yes.
It's much nicer than the woman fashion show.
Yeah.
True or not?
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Not just because you have beautiful men on the one way, but in plus, it's cooler.
Yes.
There is less politics. There is, it's not my seat. It's okay, I go there. It's totally different, and I prefer men fashion week.
Best parties, and the June, especially when the weather is great. I start my first fashion week. I remember when I came was in June for men, so it was a really good time because you have fun.
Yeah.
September and March nowadays. I mean, today
it's more updated, you know.
My first show would be at 9:30 today, and last one should be at 9. So if I would go to all of them, I would have 10 shows. Then in between receives, presentations, some meetings, all this small stuff. And tonight I was invited to 4 dinners, 2 cocktails, and so. But you cannot.
And finally,
do that.
what are you going to do tonight?
None of them. I'm skipping all of them.
You stay
I
home?
have to go home.
Me, it's always home in front of my.
I think I will go home.
I hope to find a new crush on Netflix because I finished my my story anyway with my glass of wine. You know, I think when you work in fashion, don't see too much fashion people.
Yeah,
it's good to see other people so that you have more in the reality, because fashion is a bit in a bulb, no?
Yeah.
We're in a dream. So it's good to, I'm lucky to take taxi, but I love to talk to the taxi drivers because they have another quotidien than mine, and I think it's opened really my mind too.
Okay, yeah.
Not be just on you.
I share the
limousine.
same, because in between fashion weeks, I'm not saying in a bad way that I'm really trying to not to go to the fashion events between fashion weeks, because then I want to be excited again to see these people, to miss them. So in between, I'm trying as much as to be at home, because to have fun again for the next season. So
but you know, the big problem if you're going like me for fashion show for many years, you're sitting at the same people in front of you, see, oh my God, they look older. Oh. Do I look older like that? Oh my God, you know.
So you think what they think about you,
I
right?
don't know, but you know, me, I think this way, so they must think the same as me, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.